Banksy has entered the chat. He unveils a new stencil mural on the exterior wall of the Queen's Building at the Royal Courts of Justice in central London. It is the image of a judge in a traditional wig wielding a gavel and striking a protester on the ground. There is a cyclist and a lawyer who are passing by in the background, completely oblivious, which is quite representative, and a CCTV camera that's pointing away from the scene. And Banksy confirmed it was his work because he posted it on his own Instagram account, posting a photo captioned simply, "Royal Courts of Justice, London." And the timing is telling. It appears just 2 days after London police arrested 900 people for protesting, including NHS workers, an 83-year-old priest, and a disabled veteran. Elon Musk has commented on it, saying, ironically, by covering it up, they prove his point, Banksy's point. Because what did the UK police do? What have authorities done? They have hidden it. They have covered it up. They have placed guards in front of it. Suppression of the dissent of what is happening in the UK.
I want to be clear that, law enforcement isn't to prevent crime. Law enforcement solves crime, okay? That is what they are supposed to do. They are supposed to solve crimes, not necessarily prevent them from happening, per se.
No, not the per se at the end. Gosh, Jasmine, what would we do without your commentary? Per se, she thinks she's saying some revolutionary, groundbreaking thing about law enforcement. Why do all the Democrats, they are so soft on crime and they are so anti-police, and then they get mad at us for solving the crimes? Because if we solve the crimes and it happens to be Black people that are committing the crimes at higher rates, and we look at the data and go, oh, something's wrong here, that's a problem. Anyway, Jasmine Crockett wants to be clear that the police are not there to help you feel safe. They are only there to solve crime. And we can send a social worker. A domestic violence case? Sure, send a social worker. No one needs to be trained in guns. Send some little girl, send some 5'6" blonde that just, is gonna ask the man how he feels. Help. Axios is the first major news outlet to report on the fatal stabbing of Irina, a Ukrainian refugee who was just randomly, unprovoked, stabbed to death on the Charlotte light rail by a man who was convicted of 14 crimes and was just walking freely on the streets. No major news outlets have reported on it, and it's been days. The New York Times reported George Floyd's name 5,897 times, Trayvon Martin 1,190 times, Kilmar Garcia 56 times, Daniel Penny 100 times, and Irina, 0. Finally, her horrible, tragic story gets reported, and Axios somehow blames conservative MAGA. They write this gruesome video, as if it's our fault that it's gruesome, of the fatal knife attack on Irina on the light rail car in Charlotte is drawing attention from MAGA influencers seeking to elevate the issue of violent urban crime and accused mainstream media of undercovering shocking cases. We cannot hate the mainstream media enough. There were 74,221 AP News articles about George Floyd and 0 about Irina. If you don't see a problem with this, I don't think I can help you. The fact that we have a serial criminal on the streets, someone who we know is dangerous, free to attack, shame on the system for letting this man walk free. Shame on the media for trying to sweep this under the rug because it doesn't fit their narrative. So that BBL feminist is dancing in support of Hamas on her way to Gaza on a boat to, again, support the group of men who did this to a woman. That is what she is dancing in support of. And it wasn't just this one woman that Hamas did this to. It was thousands, still is thousands. She's going to sit here and virtue signal and call herself a feminist, protecting women while supporting a group of men who do not believe that women have more than half a brain. A group of men who believe that women are there to breed. A group of men who call her dirty and believe that she's there to be raped and killed because she's a Westerner and wears stuff like that and dances like that. That, ladies and gentlemen, is modern day feminism. No logic behind it, just vibes. This is Chief Justice, more like Injustice, Sir Robert J., who just wished this man well. Why is that a problem? Well, this man is named Haroon Aswat. And Haroon was responsible for the 7/7 London bus bombings that killed 52 people. And he has now been released. He is back on the streets with no monitoring, not even an ankle monitor, nothing. The hearing transcripts that were released to the public are an absolute insult to the victims of this bombing. Mr. Justice says, okay, you probably want to put all of this behind you now. Do you know who can't put it all behind you? The victims of the bombing. Okay. Aswat says, whatever. Says, indeed I do. Mr. Justice, Injustice, says, it could not have been too pleasant being in American custody at the time. I have to wish you all the best and say to you that the way forward is to keep on your medication, listen to the advice you are going to get, and keep out of the sort of things you were doing because you saw where it ended up and you do not want to go back to that. I am sure. And now Haroon Aswat is just on the streets. He was actually born and raised in West Yorkshire, England, and he became part of the Pakistani community that radicalized him. And this man recruited over 200 men to perform jihadist activities. He actually traveled back and forth between the UK and Afghanistan, where he received Al-Qaeda training. And my question here is I, as a civilian, know and am certain that this man will attack again. I am certain that he will kill someone else. Why won't these judges, why won't the people that are now allowing him to be on the streets, why aren't they going to be held responsible? This is a government against its own people. This is a dangerous man. And the UK government's just releasing him into the public. These people need to be held responsible. This is a crime against humanity. The role of a government is law and order and to protect its citizens from foreign and domestic threats. That's the primary role of a government. The UK government is importing foreign threats to become domestic. I'm so disgusted. And this isn't an isolated incident. There are many more terrorists that have been released this year that we know are going to continue their acts of war because that's what they believe in to their core. And that's who the UK government is releasing. Holds them responsible. Oh, for fuck's sake, honestly, woman jailed after exposing herself to a group of children in the park, as if this thing could pass for a woman. It's actually insulting to women everywhere. Anyway, a child who was playing on the monkey bars in a park saw Mart holding her penis, and wiggling it at her. She immediately told her friends and father. How did we get to a place in society where we are writing our press, our news is writing her penis? Transgenderism is a mental illness. They hurt children at higher rates than the rest of the population. They commit crimes at higher rates than the rest of the population. And gaslighting a group of mentally ill people into believing that they can change sex when there's a 0% success rate and a 100% failure rate on all transitions. Never in the history of ever has a woman successfully become a man and a man has successfully become a woman. It's never, ever happened medically. Never. Making a mentally ill group of people believe otherwise is cruel. Feeding into their delusion that they can become something that they can never be is wrong. The surgery is nothing but mutilation followed by cosmetic surgery. That's what it is. We need to start treating them as mentally ill because it's what they are.